Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of eDiscovery After Hours. My guests this week, plural guests, are the eDiscovery chicks, Bree and Angie. This was a really fun episode just because of the nature of our personalities. I don't really think we made it out of the lightning round section where we just get to know our guests a little bit. We went down a few rabbit holes about travel and concerts and other things. So it was a lot of fun. It was also cool. I joked at one point that this kind of felt like an 80s sitcom crossover. Uh, this is a podcasting about what you do for a living as a labor of love. And so there's a lot of information out there about eDiscovery. And it was really neat to chat with them about how and why they cover the topics that they cover that make it more different, that make it valuable, that help it to stand out and make this industry a little bit more tangible and practical from a lot of the very technical or legal specific resources that are out there. So this is a great episode. I know that you are really going to enjoy it. My sponsor this week, as always, is Proteus Discovery Group. Proteus collects, hosts, and reviews data for law firms, corporate legal teams, and government agencies in litigation, regulatory investigations, and internal investigations. To learn more, check out proteusdiscovery.com.
Quick time!
You don't know how to drink, your whole generation.
Drinks on the house.
Yes, sir.
No, wait a second. Drinks are 50% off.
Right.
No, wait a second. Double the price of everything.
And I work only 16 hours a day.
A union man only works 8 hours a day.
I belong to 2 unions.
And now, eDiscovery After Hours with your host, Ryan Short.
eDiscovery chicks, cheers. Welcome to eDiscovery After Hours.
Cheers,
guys. Wait, hold on.
What are we drinking?
Wait. First of all, it's the Hen House Maria, and nobody has the salty rum. I feel like I get a golden star for that. Oh,
I've got the salt in the rim.
Oh, but
yeah, I just failed. You know what? I'm really, I'm the weak link here, guys.
No. You're not the weak link. I don't have a martini glass. I don't have a garnish. And because of the white balancing on my camera being off, it looks like I'm drinking like a neon drink from a club that I ordered at 2:15 a.m. like in 2013.
It does. But may I say, your rim on your glass, precise. So
Yes.
precise. That salt line.
Mine
And
has
it'll
a
be-
little bit too much salt.
Oh,
To
get
be
out.
honest.
Is that
Is
possible?
there such a thing?
I don't know. This is pretty heavy, but it has celery salt and salt and tahini. Yeah.
Celery salt, I feel like, is one of the unsung heroes of the salt world.
Yeah, it's pretty yummy.
The salt,
So-
it's like salt, like religious wars. Like people get super into it, especially with cocktails.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
last year for Christmas, I wanted to have an assortment of salts like delivered from Santa. Like I wanted black salt, pink salt, smoked salt, like all the different kinds of salt. And my husband's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just seems like it'd be cool."
My daughters get like little art boxes, like you open it up and it's got like the markers and crayons and pencils and whatever. I'll
Mhm.
send you a salt box. You open it up.
Oh,
and there it is.
yay. And I'll feel compelled to do something amazing with all of them.
I
But
asked for a salt lick for Christmas or my birthday or something in high school. My parents
Isn't
did
that
not
like
get
what a
me
cow
one.
does?
Does salt lick mean something different in Seattle than it does in Indiana?
Nope, sure doesn't. Means the same thing. I was just like, you know
Ooh.
what? I need this. Basically, I'm a cow or a horse
Mm.
or whatever
Well-
other animals lick salt.
A deer. I grew up on 6 acres of land surrounded by 100 acres of farm and forest. And so we'd
Mm.
see deer in the backyard like almost every night. And we didn't even have a salt lick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Imagine how many deer you would have seen if you'd had a salt lick.
I am imagining
So
right now.
many.
And Angie may have even shown up.
I may have. I may have just
We would have been
sniffed that
friends.
out.
We would have been friends years before this.
Yeah.
Doesn't this feel like when Steve Urkel went on Growing Pains or some kind of like a great like late 80s crossover event? Like this is worlds colliding here. This is great.
Yeah,
I love
kinda
it.
is. Well, I
I
feel
also-
like So this is the Hen House Maria drink, which by the way is a signature eDiscovery Chicks drink. But I feel like each one of our Hen House Marias is a little different. Like yours
Yeah.
is definitely like different strokes.
Yeah. I think that's perfect
Like, I
though. It's
don't know
like
what that
make it, take it, we give it freely, and then make it your own.
means.
So I
Mhm.
wanted mine to match Angie's lipstick. That's what I was going for here.
Mm. How considerate of you.
Is the Hen House Maria? I've never heard of this drink before. Is this like, is this from a book? Are you the? I don't even know the word for like cocktail cook.
We haven't put together a book yet, but Ryan,
Oh,
maybe we should do that. That's a good idea.
There you
We
go.
do have a section on our website for drink recipes, and this is our first signature drink. So
Okay.
we happen to have in our back pocket a really great bartender mixologist who we gave
That's
the
the word.
task,
That's the word, mixologist.
yes, to create a signature drink for the eDiscovery Chicks, and he actually created 3, and this was our favorite. So we're debuting your show, Ryan, with this drink that we're bringing to the world for the first time. I mean, how special are you?
Very special. 3 different variations of the drink, by the way.
Yeah, one Hen House Maria looks a little different from each other.
It's very flexible. Yeah, it's a good drink. All right. Can we share it online when
Mhm.
when this
Yeah.
goes live? Can we drop the recipe in there?
Mhm.
please do.
I dig it.
We
Awesome.
will.
All right. So guys, I typically start these episodes off with, well, let me ask you this. Do either of you listen to Mike Birbiglia, the comedian? Do
Oh
either of
my
you
gosh,
listen
I
to his
love him.
podcast?
Oh, I haven't listened to his podcast, but I like his stand-up.
Did you see The Old Man in the Pool, that tour last year?
It did. Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
You asked Bree the perfect question because I like Mike Birbiglia. I do, but Bree loves him.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like
I
loves him,
do.
loves him.
I do.
but not enough to listen to his podcast.
I actually went to see him in person.
Yeah.
So I think that counts.
That
Thank you
does
very
count.
much.
He has a part of his podcast that he calls slow round, like instead of lightning round.
Oh.
And the whole point is like instead of just being like question, answer, he's like question, and then he just kind of saunters through the answer and then just abruptly changes subjects. We're gonna do that now. Credit to Birbigs.
Okay. Well,
All
it's
right.
a good thing that I don't listen to his podcast because then I would have been prepped for your show, Ryan.
That's right. That's right. We'll have to edit this part out so nobody knows what's coming. All right. So these questions all go to both of you. All right. And the whole point is just let's take off the eDiscovery hat. Who is Bree? Who's Angie? Who are the eDiscovery Chicks? All right. First concert.
Oh boy, that's a can of worms.
Yes.
We don't have enough time tonight.
All right. First concert. Angie, you first.
First concert.
Mhm.
Okay, I have no idea what my first concert was because it was
Oh.
so long ago and not
Okay.
that memorable. But I will tell you my most recent concert because it was 48 hours ago. And that is, I went to the Eras tour for the second time. I went to Canada. I saw Tay-Tay. It was amazing.
You saw the Eras tour twice?
I did. My husband works in the music industry. And so his coworker was able to get us tickets like at cost, basically.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason I've been twice.
Wow.
But one was
Dang.
pre-Tortured Poets Department and one was post-Tortured Poets Department. So I
Okay.
really feel like I went to 2 different shows.
But hey,
what was
this time,
what were the 2 cities that you went to?
Seattle and then Vancouver, BC.
Okay.
and this
Gotcha.
time you were sporting a boot. Forgot that
Yes,
part.
this time I was in a walking cast and I put like little butterflies on it and stuff, like really decked it out for Tay-Tay.
Yeah.
It was great.
What is what's your favorite Taylor album?
Reputation.
Really?
I think I've got like a little
Hot
bit of a
take.
rebellious streak
Yeah.
in me, and like the angst in that really speaks to me for some reason. And I kind of love that it was this moment where she was just sort of like, you know what, world? Sorry, are we allowed to swear in this?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Where she was like, you know what, world? Like, fuck you. I am who I am.
Yeah. That's right.
So yeah.
Power to her. What about, okay, brief. 2 questions. First concert and favorite Taylor album.
Oh, I don't have a favorite Taylor album. That is highly banned in this household. I am a Taylor Swift fan. Like, I would never say I was not because I do like her music. I have a 12-year-old son, Ryan. Like, it's all I can do to be cool to him. And if I start jamming out to Taylor, like, we got some problems. So it would have to be like a closet obsession, which I mean, it kind of is.
You've got some really nice headphones.
Yes. So,
I'm
my
seeing the makings for a closet obsession here, Brie.
I don't know. I've gone so far without being pulled in. And so my first concert was back in the 80s, and I don't remember what year it was, but it was the early 80s, and it was Whitney Houston.
Whoa, the
And
voice.
so yes, and she came to Houston. Well, Whitney Houston came to Houston, and it was like the very beginning of the Woodlands Pavilion. If anybody is like familiar with that area, but the Cynthia Woodlands Pavilion's popular now, but it was a new thing back then, and it's outside. So Whitney Houston had like 8 costume changes in the middle of August in the summertime. Like, what are you doing? This chick was sweating all the time. Like, she must have had people back there like chainsawing and scissoring and like taping things to her body and like throwing her back up on stage. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it was amazing. I had every Whitney Houston like tape on my Walkman. I'm still a huge
Walkman.
fan of Whitney Houston. Yeah, I could go for hours listening to her music. In
So
fact, my shower song was what is it? I believe the children are future. When I was like 8, so I'm like in the shower. Smell and let them lead the way. Yeah. So that was my first concert, and I would do it all over again.
I mean, she's like the phrase generational talent, or like once in a generation, that voice is just, I don't know if we'll ever, it was unbelievable. So,
I know.
all
I
right,
know.
fantastic. All right, so that was your first concert, well, or last concert. Somebody's changing the rules over here.
That's what she
Sorry.
does. You get to watch her.
Favorite concert. I think we probably already know
Sorry.
Angie's answer. So I always like to get first and favorite from people, because a lot of times the first may not have been their choice. They get dragged by a parent or an older sibling or something. So what's your favorite concert? Either can go first here.
Okay. I saw Green Day this year in September on their Saviors tour.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may have been my favorite concert ever. It's a toss up between that and Zach Brown Band. You can tell I have very disparate taste in music.
That's good though. You got to have the disparate. Too much of anything, Zach Brown, I mean, so good.
So good.
He has a song, well, he's got a lot of deep cuts that I really like too, but like Highway 20 Ride, I cannot listen to that without getting choked up.
No one can. That and Colder Weather. Everyone
Yes.
cries every time.
So Free by Zach Brown and Amarillo by Morning by George Strait, 2 top 5 songs. Like, those speak to me. The soaring fiddle in both of them. Can you tell I'm half hillbilly, by the way?
I was wondering about that.
I took the 23andMe, and they were just like, you got to go back to Kentucky.
Oh, God. That's
Oh,
Okay,
my
Green
God.
Day, Zach Brown, incredible answers. Bree?
Well, I mean, so I do not like these favorite questions because I always say, well, I don't know. I haven't seen them all yet. Like, I can't make that determination. Like, I want to leave my options open. I can tell you some of my top concerts, maybe.
Sure.
So George Strait would be one. I went to see George Strait the night that the Houston Astrodome closed. It was the last Houston livestock show and rodeo that was in the Astrodome, and that whole arena closed after that. So it was like every place I'd ever seen the Astros play baseball and every rodeo I'd ever been to, like that building was closing and George Strait was there and I was on the freaking floor, man. I had floor seats. Me and my girlfriends, we split up because we couldn't find 3 floor seats together, but we all met each other at the front, baby. We're like, George. And so that was pretty fun. I would also say Garth Brooks, when he first came out, like he turned country music on its head, and that seeing that for the first time when I was a little college kid was like amazing. I would say like very surprising concert like recently was 21 Pilots. Like that sounds super cheesy and I was dreading the concert to be honest because my son like listens to that music on repeat. And I was like, "Oh god, okay, mommy owes you a birthday gift. Let's go. Yay." But we ended up getting gifted like a seat switch at the last minute, which put us like 15 rows from a side stage that they came out and performed at like all concert long.
Oh,
Those motherfuckers, they like light stuff on fire.
yeah.
They've got like blow torches. They're like crowd surfing with their drums. I'm like, what is going on? So that was a lot of fun with my son. And I'll say the other key concert. This is 1994, I think. Pink Floyd came to Rice Stadium and there was a lightning storm and they played through that and that was amazing. And it's been like documented and stuff. It's really cool. But I was in the venue for that concert too. That was pretty cool. But I'm not gonna say I have a favorite yet because who knows? I still got at least 40 more years to live. We
I
hope.
feel like we're being a little legalistic here about the definition of the word favorite.
I am the one with the correct rim. Okay, there are some legalistic tendencies I might have.
I'm sorry. Rules are made to be broken, and recipes are rules.
Yeah, touche. Well said. Well said.
From our counselor.
All right, Bree, I have bad news. I have another favorite question.
Oh gosh.
Favorite vacation spot? Or for Angie, most recent vacation spot?
Oh, she's gonna throw a loophole in your loopholes right there.
Oh, I'm going to. Okay, I have a question. What do you mean by that? Is this like my most memorable vacation, or where
Like
I
your
would go if I
favorite,
could get on a plane tomorrow?
Yeah, you get on a plane tomorrow. You're like, I'd love it. I'd want to relive it. I'd want to do it all the time. Let's do it. Let's get there.
Oof. For me, this is a toss-up between Greenland and Italy.
Two great answers. Continue. Expand.
Okay. So I've been to Greenland. It was hands down the most beautiful place I have ever seen in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen that much pristine nature.
Yeah.
Such like monolithic icebergs.
Yeah.
Whales everywhere. I got sprayed by a whale exhaling. It smelled horrible. I would do
Yeah,
it
it's like
again
boogers.
immediately. A lot of dead fish. And I just have never witnessed natural beauty like that. And so I would go back in a heartbeat. I also have this bucket list agenda where I want to do that kind of kayaking where you go through the glacier, like the glacial rivers.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Italy, I feel like, I don't know. I just love Italy, man. It's amazing. I kind of speak the language. Like I love the wine. I love the food. I love the people. It's just wonderful.
When you say kind of speak the language, you mean like, grazie and prego. So you think you kind of know the language or?
No, I can like we went a couple of months ago and we were places where people didn't speak English and
nice.
I could like
good.
communicate with
cool.
them.
Yeah, I would say you're using kind of a little loosely.
Maybe. And it's like people would speak to me in Italian and I'd respond to them and then they would kind of go off and I'd be like, oh, no, I'm not. No.
This is a good time to break in and read my Babbel ad. Like I'm a professional podcaster.
Right. Right.
So Italy, people say that, and it's just like, I mean, Italy wasn't a unified country until like the American Civil War, basically. So like, when you say Italy, are you talking Sicily? Are you talking like Florence and Milan, like Rome and the set? Like, yes to all.
Yes to all. I have lived in Rome. Mostly recently we were in Umbria. We've been to Tuscany, Sardinia, the south. Like we went to the north this time. We went up to the Lake Country and stayed at Lagarinseo.
Did you hang with George and Amal? at Lake Como?
I wish we actually saw their house.
Ooh.
We did. We went on a boat tour of Lake Como and we were like, I was with a friend of mine who loves celebrity gossip. And she was like, we have to go see George and Amal's house. And we did.
I think Assisi might be my favorite place on earth.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Brie, have you been?
No, I'm like, you guys are making me super jealous because I want to go.
She's over here on Expedia while we're chatting.
Right.
Hey, there's 3
It's
people on
like,
this
oh.
podcast.
I think we could do an eDiscovery Chicks Italy tour.
Okay, let's do that.
Is eDiscovery Chicks,
like Girl Who
not an
Dreams.
eDiscovery Chicks After Hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Assisi, Brie, it's like when you hear like a medieval village, you're thinking about Assisi, like just winding cobblestone streets with like beautiful flowers and friendly people who are all seemingly old and hunchbacked, but it's amazing. Yeah, and like some of the best food you'll ever have in your life. And the wine, oh my gosh.
Oh,
So good. Okay.
Are you guys gonna
Brie,
be okay?
let's go down your vacation rabbit holes here. You gotta have to top glacial rivers.
I cannot.
and
I feel
Umbria.
like a loser compared to you guys. I'm like,
no,
Like,
I just have a problem.
Y'all ever been to Six Flags?
exactly. We go to Buc-ee's for vacation in Texas.
Hell yeah.
No, I would say, well, first of all, anywhere there's water is usually where I'm headed. Well, there's 2 things that are going to draw me. It's either going to be the water or the food or the music. So that would be a close second. But I grew up in Texas. Texas is close to Mexico. I've been to all different places in Mexico and like, Cozumel, Cancun, like all that Gulf Coast, like clear blue water, white sand beaches, snorkeling, and all of that is my complete jam. Like if I'm going to relax, I want to go somewhere I don't feel pressured to like go see all the history and like do all the things. Like I just want to go somewhere I can melt away and I can kind of speak enough Spanish, especially if I had enough of these hen house Marias. I can definitely speak enough to get by anywhere I need to do. So that would be like the mommy wants to get away vacation. Otherwise, like I think my favorite place that I actually have gone was in Maine. Like we went sailing for a couple of weeks off the coast of Maine and navigated like old world style with, it was a sailboat that wasn't motorized at all. So you're like reliant at sometimes on GPS and that sort of thing. And trying to map out your course and stuff is really fun. And to just live off of the boat and buy, lobster from your little lobster fisherman and stuff is really cool. An experience I'll
Tell
never
me more about the
have again.
lobster.
A lobster is freaking amazing. Like you pull up to some dude out in the ocean and you're like, hey bro, how much for some lobster? And they're like, do you have any beer? And we're like, yeah, I'll make a switch. So it was a bartering system. But yeah, I mean, we made fools of ourselves with big pots of boiled water in the galley area, boiling those lobster with some drawn butter and just kind of listening to the wind and sailing and feeling free. Like water is like the thing that centers me always. So I was super happy, but I have a bucket list of places. Like I want to go to Greece really bad. That's one place, and Italy's another place I want to go. I've been fortunate enough to go to England and do like London, France and all that, which is fun. And I'm glad I went, but it was like, nah, we've been there. We've done that. Like I want to keep going. So
I just want to call out that I think my favorite 2 ideas in your answer was, I don't really want to go somewhere where I have to worry about like history and seeing things. I really want to go to Greece.
No. Well, no, I said if I was just gonna chill and relax and reset. If I go to Greece, that's like work, man. I gotta like figure out all the history and see all the stuff. But yeah, I'm a complicated person, Ryan. I mean, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me. I'm a little bit more messed up in the head than you are, I'd be willing to bet.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. We don't have enough time for that in today's episode. But we all got our stuff.
We've got stuff. This is not that type of show. BetterHelp is not one of our sponsors. All right, last slow round question. Most famous person you've met?
I
Angie.
don't know how to pronounce his name. But the guy that plays Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones. It's like Nikolai Walder-Costo or something.
I don't know. I haven't seen the show.
You would recognize him if you saw him. Like, he's in other stuff. But anyways, I ran into him in Greenland in this town of like 3,000 people and 6,000 dogs, by the way, which is another selling point for Greenland. There are more dogs than people in this little town. And it was amazing. But yeah, I just like totally randomly met him. He smoldered for the camera. It was beautiful. That was it.
Okay, solid.
I mean,
when you can't pronounce a
sorry.
person's last name, very good answer.
I haven't met any other famous people.
Okay. Bree, what about you?
Yeah, mine aren't really, I don't know if they're super impressive, but they are to me. So most recently, when Xterro had their exchange in Atlanta, in our hotel was CeeLo Green, just like sitting there hanging with the peeps. And I was such a fan nerd. Like, I can't possibly go up there. That's CeeLo Green. I mean, yeah, he's completely not even like all that. He's totally talking to people and being chill, but I'm all like, no. Oh. And then I
Wait,
went over there. "Mr.
Was he there
Green."
for the Xterro conference? Or was it
No.
just same hotel?
No, he just
That was
happened to
my
be
first
there.
question, Ryan, when she texted me about this.
No, it was pretty funny because some of our clients were like, "Did you guys hire CeeLo to be here? That is awesome." I'm like, I don't know. How should I answer? Yes. No, he just apparently hangs out at this specific hotel. And so he was
As
being
one does.
super nice and, talking to everybody and hamming it up and stuff. And he took a picture with me, so I felt all cool. I sent it back to my son and my husband, who were like, yeah. And my son was like, The Voice. And my husband's like, original rap music when it was awesome. So,
And what Bree's not telling you, she texted this to me and I was like, oh my God, his Christmas album is lit.
I will, and that's funny because I'm like, your favorite CeeLo song, and I'm like, Mary, did you know?
Yeah. I mean, killer version of Mary Did You Know?
Yes.
Also, have you guys ever seen Daryl's House?
No,
With Daryl
No.
Hall
I
from
think
Hall and
so.
Oates? So Daryl Hall, different kind of cat, but incredible musician. And he's like, he had his own like HGTV or TLC, some kind of thing where like he's like an older white male version of Joanna Gaines, like really good at like decor and renovations and all this stuff. So he had an old colonial house in like New Hampshire, Vermont or something, Connecticut. And then they transitioned it into this bar that he owns to make it a little bit bigger. But he would bring in these crazy famous musicians and then they would play each other's music. And there's an episode probably from like a decade ago with CeeLo, and they do a version of I Can't Go For That. Total earworm. Like, I'm tempted to pause recording right now just so the three of us can just listen together. I won't, but I am tempted.
That's funny.
That good.
He's a really good cover artist.
So, yeah. I mean, he's so
good.
talented.
Yeah.
So
Like that
talented.
Joni Mitchell song, like River, or like the one like I wish I had a river I could skate away on. That really sad
that
Christmas
one.
song. Cutting
wanna
down
sing it, though?
Christmas or cutting down
Yeah,
trees.
maybe sing us a piece of it.
Nope, won't be doing that. But CeeLo does a great cover of it.
Oh my goodness.
All right. eDiscovery chicks. First, how did you two meet? And then how did the idea to become world famous podcasters come about? So I don't know who wants to take the lead on that one.
I'm gonna let Andy take it because it was her brainchild to begin with.
It was her fault.
It's
It was my fault. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. That's a Taylor lyric. Let's see here. I started it like
Random cat alert. Are you
random
okay over
cat cameo.
It's really her tail. She doesn't like to take it out, but she will every now and then.
The what?
So it's really your tail.
My tail. Yeah, I started it with like a former colleague of mine. And then, she kind of moved on with her life, did other things. And I kind of wanted to keep it going. And I knew Bree just sort of through the industry and you know, in my day job, we'd been a client of her day jobs. And where were we? Somewhere in Texas, Houston? We were in Houston.
We were somewhere in Texas.
We were somewhere in Texas. We were in Houston, I think.
Yeah, because I was on the Women in eDiscovery board at the time, and I had asked Angie and her former co-host to come down and do like a live podcast. And so that's where we were. I want to take over your story.
No, it's our story from here on out. I just asked Bree kind of this was a premeditated ask. But I think to her it felt kind of random. Where I was like, hey, do you want to join and like do this with me? And I think she maybe thought I'd had a couple martinis and would regret that in the morning. And I was like, nah, girl, I went in with that plan and then had the martini.
I didn't know about the premeditation until much later.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's so cute. She doesn't know what she's asking. She'll change her mind.
I was like, nah, bitch, I do. I targeted you.
Yeah, Angie approached me and she's like, hey, so would you consider being co-host on a podcast? And I'm like, okay, you do realize that, like, number one, I'm super old and not interesting. So I don't know if that's gonna be like the first person you want to be your co-host. And number two,
you are neither of those things.
I'm like, how many martinis have you had? No, but at first I was like, well, I'm happy to help. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. And then as we started talking, I'm like, well, I want to do more than just help. Like, I kind of want to do this shit. Let's go. So and the thing I love about working alongside Angie is that the two of us will sit here and, you know, think about, well, what if we did this? Well, I don't know. Well, let's do it. Well, okay. Well, here's your action plan. Well, let's go. And we just kind of do it. And you know, I hadn't really worked with someone that's also like myself in that way. So we did some things super fast and I think are pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if anybody else does, but I think they're pretty cool. And we looked up and we're like, dang, we came a long way. How did we do that? Well, I don't know. We just did it. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's been a really fun ride. And I'm so excited. Like, the more we do, it's like the more momentum we get to even do better next time. So it's been fun, like challenging each other and riffing off of each other. And I think that we both bring something completely different to the table, which I love learning from Angie and being inspired by her. And so it's made me a better person, and I've had a lot of fun with it.
Don't make me cry. We're on camera.
No, do it. Keep going.
No, shut it down.
Time. I'm just kidding.
So what, you know, I think it's fun to host a podcast. I've been inconsistently doing it for 3.5 years at this point, 4 years at this point. But like, there are, as with anything you do, there's challenges and frustrations and annoyances and whatever. What have been the things that have surprised you guys, both on the positive and the, you know, you can call it negative or the annoyance column? Like, what are the things that you found out along the way where you're like, oh, okay, that's a thing, whether it's good or bad?
I think I'm going to go with a positive because I just want to shout out Bree here. Try and make you cry. No, you know, those people on a group project where, like, if everybody else kind of slacked off, somebody was going to take charge and like hammer it home. Bree and I are both those people. And so I feel both this immense sense of gratitude and also a sense of very healthy accountability to Bree, because she is so inspirational in that way. Like, we will always communicate and she'll be like, all right, what can I take off your plate? Like, how can we do this? How can we maximize this? And she brings these very fresh, very fun, very dynamic ideas for topics that we should explore, for guests that we should have. Bree's an amazing networker. And you know, and it's just so much fun to build that with her. And then on top of that, Bree edits all of our audio, and she is just incredible at it. Like, there's no way we could do what we do without her. And it's just been so fun to forge this very intentional interstate, intergenerational friendship and partnership. And I just feel immensely grateful. So that's been a huge positive.
That's so sweet. I mean, show over. Like I can't even say anything now. And by the way, guys, I think she might have had more than just that one drink. I'm just saying.
I'm not even done with my one. Get out of here.
I'm just kidding. But thank you, Angie. I mean, I guess for me, all the things that Angie said about me, I could easily say in return about her too. A surprise that's been very interesting has been our global following. It makes sense that we would have people in America that are dealing with the same crap we're dealing with and are like, oh, finally, somebody's talking about all the shit. Like, let's get it on. But why are people all over the world so interested? And that's been so exciting to me to watch us to be able to connect internationally. I watch our podcast downloads. And Angie and I both do. But I'm always fascinated when it's like, hey, the last 30 days, the top place to download your podcast was in Africa, was in South America, was in Germany. And we've been in all those places at some point. And I'm like, I want to meet these people. I want to hear their stories. I want to understand what eDiscovery looks like from their perspective. And so that's been like a pleasant and shocking surprise to me. I would say in terms of the negative, I mean, I don't even know if it's really a negative because I enjoy what we do so much that this is like a labor of love, honestly, to me. But I do think administratively, it's so much more than what I thought it would be,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is how all these things always go. But it makes me appreciate people that are out there, killing it and doing a great job and putting together great content. I mean, it's not as easy as it might seem. And if somebody makes it seem easy, that means they're really dang good and they deserve some props. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'd say.
I love it. There's no shortage of content out there, right? Uh, Bree, you're at a software company. I'm at a services company. Angie gets pestered by companies like ours all the time. Um, companies like 𝐀𝐟𝐭 and Proteus, we spend a lot of time and try to be really intentional about putting out positive content that educates people and informs people and maybe entertains people and whatever. So the point is, when you add our companies and all of the, all of our competitors out there is people can Google anything they want and find umpteen million lists about it, right? Or there's other podcasts, there's other papers and journals and all that. How do you guys take this space and put a fresh spin on it? Or how do you approach topics that have been covered before, but maybe you kind of tweak the approach to make it a little bit more tangible for people or a little bit more entertaining? How do you guys think about adding value in a space that's pretty well covered, I would say?
Brie, I think you should take this one.
Oh no.
We're both too deferential.
Well, I'll give my perspective. So, I mean, number one, I know that one of the first things Angie and I ever did when we got involved with this podcast and we realized, holy crap, we could change the world right now. And we're like, what do you want to do, man? And so we ended up meeting in person, which was in Chicago. It was somehow that was like a middle ground for us. And we talked about why the heck are we doing this? I mean, after we're spending now we see how much time and investment it's going to be. What is your why for this? Because I want to make sure that you're getting your why, your itch scratched, and I'm getting mine scratched, right?
Yeah.
And we had very mutual perspectives on this, which is number one, we're both very grateful for the industry of eDiscovery and what it's meant for each one of us personally in our own careers. And we also feel very grateful to others for helping us along the way because eDiscovery wasn't necessarily an industry that was set in stone and everything's been figured out. We were very much pioneers in this space, right? So we all are learning from one another. And we both feel very strongly about bringing value to individuals, not just, hey, how can I be the best eDiscovery nerd ever? But how can I be the best person that I want to be ever? And how can I be happy in whatever situation I might find myself in so that I can bring value to my employer? And that's something that's really important to both of us. We also, both of us have seen eDiscovery because, like you said, there's so much information out there, and some of it is super freaking complicated. And some of it is like, unless you're doing it in your day job, it's very unrelatable and you don't know how it fits in. And so you want somebody to break it down to you, like, can you just give me like the sitting at the bar, cussing with your best friend version of like why I care about this crap in the first place? That's kind of where we wanted to kind of take this to make it more approachable. But we hope that we're also helping others to become educated. I know we are becoming educated more and more also ourselves, which has been fun with what we do. But that's my secret, why anyway, is that I want to empower others to have a meaningful career. You don't have to be an attorney, you don't have to have a PhD, you don't have to, have done this for 30 years. Like, you can jump in right now today and you can offer value up to your company and eDiscovery. Anyway, very long-winded answer, so hopefully you don't cut out most of it.
Hey, you edit the audio on eDiscovery Chicks. We do not edit audio
Like,
on eDiscovery After Hours. We
oh,
let it
well,
roll. That's great. Angie,
I
what
don't
about
know.
you?
So first of all, +1 to everything that Bree said. Secondly, I think that our philosophy, I think we had a very clear philosophy for both of our seasons. So season 1 was like, let's talk about the basics. Let's go through the EDRM, the eDiscovery reference model, and let's make that approachable, not only for people who are in the eDiscovery field, but also people who are interested in it, or maybe people who have never heard of it and are like, what is this thing? And we wanted to talk about it in a way that wasn't so academic and so sort of larded with all this really nerdy eDiscovery stuff. We didn't want that excess mortar in the way that we were talking about it. For this season, for season 2, we're focused on the intersection of eDiscovery and disciplines that you might not traditionally associate with eDiscovery. Like, we are thinking about it in the context of criminal prosecutions and working with PR and working with engineering and IT. And so we're focused on these parts of eDiscovery that traditionally haven't really had a light shown on them. And we're really trying to do that. So, yeah.
That is awesome. I love it. All right, this is going to be the last question of the episode, and I'm gonna put make Bree angry again. It's another favorite
gosh.
question.
Oh,
Ooh.
man.
What is your favorite episode name? And I'll start. The Party End of the Mullet. Love it. Who names the episodes, and what's your favorite name?
God, that was such a good episode title. Either we do, usually what we will do is we'll plug the episode, kind of tell ChatGPT what the episode's about and ask it to spit out a bunch of names, and then we'll kind of like tweak them or pick them or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Bree, do you have a favorite?
Well, so we usually it's Angie and I mutually, and it usually takes like about 50 ideas back and forth, and then we just bust out laughing like that's it. And so that's been really fun, and we've had fun, using the chicken pun, like what the flock is the EDRM and all that.
Yeah.
But my favorite title, honestly, is Pencils Down, but it's because it came from someone who I used to work with, who I worked with, Dan Olmos, and Nate also was on the show with us. But it was an episode about production, and I worked with both of them at United Lux, and they were just. I remember, when you're in the trenches and you're like, God dang, this war is terrible, and I hope we win, and I hope we're all alive at the end of it, because if we are, I totally want to meet these people in person and party with them. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate their brotherhood. Like, you feel like you're just in the battle. And I felt like I was there with both of those guys. And when they came on and we were prepping for their episode, Dan said, it's pencils down. Like, production means pencils down. Production means you don't get to change it again. You're done. we're done. Like he was just like super matter of fact. And we're like, yeah, if there could be any message that you tell the rest of the world about production, that's what it should be. But the fact that it came from a guest and he was so matter of fact about it and just nailed it, I was like, that is beautiful. So that'd be my favorite title, but maybe not the most catchy one, but that's for the meaning behind it anyway.
I love that. And I'm going to shamelessly plug season 2, actually, because we've started prepping for that because Brie and I are both eldest daughters and horrendously type A people. We are doing a series called Foul Play, FOWL, which is where we explore the intersection of like criminal investigations and eDiscovery. I just love the wordplay.
Well, and
I love the
Angie,
wordplay, and I also am excited that your podcast is veering into the true crime category.
well, I think Angie is too.
I'm so stoked. I love
It
it.
was her idea. I was like, that is awesome. And she also did a great job with our graphics. We have some cool foul play graphics coming up, and Angie is usually the artistic one that does those. So yeah, it's something to look forward to for sure.
Awesome.
That is one other thing I will say about Brie and I that's been so fun and special about working together is we both have very different skill sets and very different likes and dislikes. And somehow the universe, the stars aligned, and they are not the same, but they are complementary.
That's where the magic happens when 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah.
Awesome. If folks want to find and follow eDiscovery Chicks, where can they do that?
You can find our podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts. We're fully syndicated. So you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us, I don't know, Bree's the one who does the syndication. So she can tell you all the different places.
Anywhere you want to be. And if you don't find us, let me know and we'll be there tomorrow.
Exactly. Our website is 𝐸discoverychicks.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn. And as of this week, we have revived our Instagram page, which is, you guessed it, eDiscovery Chicks.
Love it. Awesome. Ladies, thank you. Chicks, thank you for coming on. Cheers.
Get it straight, Ryan. Come on. No, thank you, Ryan, for having us. Appreciate you. And by the way, we're looking forward to having you on our show.
Ooh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.